Thailand is so beautiful, but my word, is it hot. Stunning markets, street food, and the vibrancy of Bangkok is unrivaled, and nothing like what the riders are used to in the European leg of the MXGP World Championship. Welcome to round two and a brand new location for our Thai Grand Prix. After the highs and lows of Qatar, we're expecting this new track to serve up yet more surprises for our MXGP riders. We have got plenty on the show for you this week, including an in-depth chat with the man running the #1 plate in MX2, Jordi Tixier, and in a minute we're going to catch up with Hitachi Revo KTM rider Sean Simpson to find out what went down in his opening round. But first, let's check out this brand new track with our GoPro track preview.
Todd Waters, number 47, Red Bull, Ice One, Husqvarna Factory Racing Team.
Glenn Koldenoff, 259, Rockstar Energy Suzuki Europe.
It's about 110 metres down to the first turn here in Thailand. A nice wide start straight into a very tight 170-degree right-hand corner. Two rollers on the exit into a tight left, another roller into a double jump into a slightly rutted section there. That would stay rutted throughout the whole day due to the watering that's gone down, trying to keep the track nice and dust free. Out of turn 3 though, a single double combination through turn 4, a couple of offset cambers, entering into the long wave section, about 150 metres long. Turning slightly through turn 6 on the approach to the finish line jump there. Nice big double jump, about 23 metres long. And then again, almost 180 degrees, turning back on itself over a single, and then down the straight past pit lane, about 150 metres down there. If you run wide, that'll leave the door wide open for somebody to punish the mistake you might have just made. Over a small tabletop jump, and then into the rhythm section. Some guys getting over the gap here from here, tripling in and then doubling on the right side, but you can double your way through on the left-hand side, and that takes you through a series of waves over the Monster Energy Dragon's back. A couple more big rollers on the other side of the Dragon, through the chicane, over the Ippon tabletop, over to the far side of the circuit, which is a 180-degree left-hand turn. You see a choice of lines through there. See how hard the ground is as well. Slick, marbly, changing in some places, grip in other places. Over the triple, into possibly the tightest corner on the track. A single coming out of there. This would be the final corner normally. Out of that left, over the Monster Energy tabletop, jumping back onto the start straight. Then you see how wide the start straight is. So when the riders come through here at the start of the second lap, these lines will start to open up, although expect it to get a little bit rutty through there as well. But as the riders are more spread out, as they get over that single, more choice as they go over the double jump as well into this left-hander. But again, expect mistakes through this part of the racetrack come race day. No one really getting over the triple just yet, so a lot of riders going single double through there. But you get that right, once again it's 150 metres through the waves. You can double from the inside actually, or you can rail the outside, miss a couple out. Either way, it brings you to the Monster Energy finish line jump, and that completes the lap here in Thailand.
I'm now joined by Hitachi Revo KTM UK rider Sean Simpson. Sean, thanks for joining us. Is it fair to say that you're perhaps expecting big things this year after a strong 2014 season?
Coming in under the radar, I think this year there's been a lot of hype and a lot of expectation from Antonio, from Ryan, from Gautier, a lot of the top names this year in the championship. But I don't mind being a sort of outsider or a name that not many people are throwing onto the table, because that's kind of what I sort of thrive from, and I'm looking forward to it. Another year on the KTM 450, and we rode well last year. Haven't had to change too many things for this year, so just really looking to build on what I had last year.
This is perhaps the first year in a long time that you've stuck with the same setup. Is it a case of if it ain't broke, don't fix it?
Yeah, definitely. The Hitachi Revo team's done a great job for me. KTM 450, you know, I haven't had to change, change machinery. A lot of people's actually changed back down to the 350. I did test it towards the end of last year and I just preferred the torque and the overall setup that we had on the 450. So, you know, the suspension's been working great, the power delivery, you know, just had to work a little bit on my starts, but, you know, looks like we've got them more or less on point. You know, last week in Qatar we had a couple of top 5 starts, and I think that's just going to make things a lot easier, especially with the field being so stacked as it is. You know, with 20 guys or 18 to 20 guys who've been on the podium in MXGP, you know, you could be battling for 5th or 15th, you know, in the same sort of, you know, tough battle. So, you know, just hoping that we can, improve that week on, week out, and hopefully have a few hole shots this year.
And now that racing has got underway, is it good to get into the swing of things again?
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, everyone's in the same boat really. We've had, you know, X amount of months off and not too much racing or too much excitement. And a lot of laps and, you know, on the tracks and in the gym. But now that the racing started going again, I think it's just, you know, everyone gets the pre-race nerves and everything out of the way, and then, you know, coming in with a bang at Qatar, it was nice to get back on the start line, back with, you know, 30 other guys on the line that's, you know, top quality racing. And now we've got Ryan on the grid as well. It's, you know, so much, you know, anticipation, and everyone's ready to get going and really show what they can do. So just looking forward to it. It's going to be 18 rounds this year. It's going to be a long season, and you know, it's just going to be everyone fighting as hard as they can till that last race.
Sean, best of luck for this weekend. I hope this track roughs up nicely for you. Thanks for chatting to us. But before we get to the racing, let's start with something a little bit different.
With drifting out of his system, it was back to the day job for Tony Cairoli. But it was Ryan Villopoto who was fastest in the qualifying race. Clement de Sal was second, Gauthier Paulin was third, Max Nagel fourth, and Ken de Dijker was fifth. Hot and humid conditions here awaited the riders as they lined up behind the start line for the first MXGP race of the afternoon. The gate dropped, and it was Ryan Villopoto alongside Clement de Sal on the run into turn one. Tony Cairoli and Max Nagel were ahead of them though, but Nagel overshot, took Cairoli with him, and that allowed Rattray on the 28 to Sal 25 up the inside, but they banged bars, and Villopoto was round the outside and went from third to first in the blink of an eye. Behind Villopoto, Clement de Sal, Tyler Rattray and Kevin Strybos gave chase as Cairoli fought from outside the top 10. With Villopoto leading the way, Gauthier Paulin also tried to make a move forward, but he collided with an offline Tyler Rattray. The Honda rider went down, Rattray straight up, but then he was caught and passed by Cairoli, who made that pass to go into 7th. Tony Cairoli then saw his teammate Tommy Searle crash out spectacularly. The Brit was in 7th, Stephen Frossard also went missing, and he failed to score points as well in race 1. Villopoto, though, was in a similar mood to that of Saturday's qualifying race, tearing apart the opposition. The closest rival to him in this first race was Clément de Sal on the Rockstar Energy Suzuki. And Romain Febvre got a spurt on in the second half of the race, eventually found his way in third for Yamaha Factory Racing, edging out Max Nagel on the Red Bull Ice One Husqvarna. Nathan Watson, after his crash a week ago, couldn't stand the heat, and Gauthier Paulin went from 4th to 7th with a simple fall in one of the turns in the closing stages of the race. Kai Rowley made that pass on Kevin Strybos, that put him up into 5th place, and that's where the Italian would stay. But Villopoto was all business in race 1. The Monster Energy Kawasaki rider had more than 10 seconds over de Sal as he entered the final lap. And it was a lap where he was able to cruise through the wave section and to the finish line to secure his first victory in MXGP in 2015. After his victory in race 1, Ryan Villopoto was looking to make it a clean sweep here in Thailand. When the gate dropped, he found himself being squeezed to the right-hand side of the bank by Clément de Sal as Tony Cairoli took the foxhole shot. Dean Ferris made a good start. He came out second as Ryan Villopoto got pushed back a few more positions in the next couple of corners. Cairoli led from de Sal. Van Hoorbeek was in third for Yamaha Factory Racing, and the Monster Energy Kawasaki of number 2, Ryan Villopoto, had to wait another couple of laps out before he could find his way into third. The Belgian making it very difficult for the American rider in the opening stages of the race, but a simple slip allowed Villopoto to go around the outside, and he was through into third. De Sal was just ahead of him in the next turn, and Cairoli just another 2 seconds further down the track. But despite his blistering pace in Saturday's qualifying and race 1, Villopoto didn't really have anything, but Romain Febvre certainly had something for his teammate, Jeremy Van Hoorbeek. Made a pass on the Belgian to go 4th. Van Hoorbeek dropped to 5th, and a couple of laps later dropped out of the race. Gauthier Paulin had another bad start, but worked his way through the field. Made a way past Todd Waters, that got him up into 6th, and that's where he would stay. But Tony Cairoli, though, took the checkered flag, his first race win of the season. De Sal was 2nd, Villopoto was 3rd. And with it, he took his first ever MXGP Grand Prix victory.
Yeah, no, it's good, not what we wanted the second moto, but, it's hot, and those are good points, so, we'll just keep chugging away at it. It's a long season, so, Tony and Clement rode really good, so, can't take anything away from them.
Official confirmation then, Ryan Villopoto wins it with 45 points. De Sal 2nd on 44, Cairoli 3rd on 41. But De Sal is the new championship leader after 2 rounds. Cairoli moves up to 2nd, Nagel drops to 3rd. Villopoto now climbs to 4th. And what a great day it was then for Ryan Villopoto and Monster Energy Kawasaki here in Thailand. Equally so for Clément de Sal. Tony Cairoli takes his first win of the year as well with that victory in race 2.
This year we've got something that you don't often see in motocross, and that's a rider with a number 1 plate on his bike. Because riders often choose to keep their traditional number rather than run the champion's plate. The man who's doing it is Jordi Tixier, the newest member of Team Monster Energy Kawasaki.
3 riders, all with high hopes and lofty expectations. Team Monster Energy Kawasaki were determined to hit the ground running in 2015. For Thomas Covington, that meant extensive testing.
About a month before the season started, went back over to Europe and did some more testing with the team, the engines, and got the bike just how I want it. So this year is quite a bit different than last year when I just jumped on the bike halfway through the season and just was sort of guessing on settings through the whole year. Never really got a chance to test.
That testing time meant a more race-ready Covington showed up on the start line in Qatar.
This year I'm more focused, just more focused on the racing. I know what to expect, and that's helped me a lot mentally, just to be prepared for each round. This time it was good. I had solid time practice, good qualifying, and then in the races I felt awesome too. I just had a couple crashes there early on in both motos, or else I think I would have been up there in the top 5.
Dylan Ferrandis has ditched the familiar race number of 122, and his preparation time has been stunted by injury.
You know, this winter I had surgery on my shoulder, so I stopped riding 3 months, and I restarted ride like 3 weeks ago before Qatar. So I think I was not ready mentally to lead, so I got a lot of pressure. And I think I got like 4-5 seconds behind the second, so it was good. And I think I never been at this place, so I start to sing and to say, hey, be careful, don't make crash, recovery for second moto, and that was you don't have to do when you are a leader. You have to push and continue to push.
His new teammate Jordi Tixier knows how to lead. With the Frenchman bringing the number 1 plate to the team, he's settling in just fine to his new surroundings.
With Dylan I feel really good, and with Thomas, you know, he's a good kid, and yeah, I didn't know him before, but he's pretty good. He's a pretty good guy, and both we have really good relationship.
Good but competitive, with Tixier and Ferrandis already tussling for track supremacy in Thailand.
We have a good relationship, but I mean we fight together since so much year, and like I think I was 7 years old, and we start to fight in 65 together. So that's why I think we can be best friends. But yeah, we have a good feeling together, and that's the best.
For Jordi Tixier, 2014 was the culmination of a dream, but everyone knows that the number 1 plate can be a heavy burden to bear.
When I ride, I don't feel about and I don't think about the number 1. I just do what I know and give my best all the time. All the people is working really, really hard for not only for me, but also for Thomas and Dylan. And I think we have a really strong team this year, and the team is possible to win races, and why not the championship? That's our goal, and that's why we give everything we can.
Jeffrey Hurlings was fastest in the qualifying race, edging out Paul Jonas and Tim Geiser, the Honda rider looking to get the Japanese manufacturer on the podium for the first time in the 3 years now that we've been coming here to Thailand. The gate dropped for moto number 1 in MX2, and it was Jeffrey Hurlings and Tim Geiser who charged down into turn 1, but it was Jeffrey Hurlings who grabbed the foxhole shot. Geiser was there in second. Benoit Paturel on the Kimiya Yamaha was in third, as Jordi Tixier just fell after making a pretty decent start, and he would have to make his way from way outside the top 20, and that's exactly what he did, but he was using up an awful lot of energy on his charge back through the field. Jeffrey Hurlings was opening up a slight lead over Tim Geiser. And behind them, Dylan Ferrandis on the Monster Energy Kawasaki. Traded places with the Slovenian a few times. Got himself into second. Geiser blasted right back into second, but not for long, because Ferrandis found a way back through and would stay there to the checkered flag. Behind them, though, the hard-charging number 33, Julian Lieber, joined the mix, found his way past the 41 of Paul Jonas, and was briefly into second until this spectacular get-off. He was able to walk away, but he would not finish the race. Jonas, though, would eventually come home in 4th. And the hard-charging number 64 of Thomas Covington on the Monster Energy Kawasaki had his best result of the year in 5th. Valentin Guyot, number 92, found himself in 6th ahead of Benoit Paturel. Mel Pocock on the Kawasaki came home in 8th place. Alexander Tonkov was 9, Petr Petrov was 10th. But Dylan Ferrandis didn't have an answer for Jeffrey Hurlings in Moto number 1, despite his efforts. Tim Geiser was halfway to getting Honda that podium. He finished 3rd in the race, and that was their first Moto podium that they'd ever recorded here in Thailand. But Jeffrey Hurlings, despite an off-track excursion with a couple of laps to go, was able to keep it on 2 wheels and took the checkered flag for an easy win in race 1. Behind him, Jeremy Seawer, whilst in 6th position, couldn't hold on anymore due to heat exhaustion. He fell within yards of the Monster Energy finish line jump, and despite trying to get himself back into the race, he was exhausted. He couldn't continue, and he wasn't the only one that wouldn't make the start line, but some of them wouldn't find out until they were in the waiting zone getting ready to go race. Tim Geiser was suffering from heat exhaustion after the first race. He went to the doctor, requested an IV drip, but you can hear the FIM race director there saying he was sorry, but he would not be able to start race 2. And you can see the disappointment on the faces of the Honda Garibaldi team all around. None of this a concern, though, for Jeffrey Hurlings, the winner of race 1, as he took his position in the gate alongside his teammate, number 41, Vals Jonas, and the 189 of Brian Borges of the Netherlands on the HSF Logistics KTM, who got off to a flying start. The 3 Kawasaki's were pretty much lined up side by side as they charged into the first turn, but once again it was Hurlings with the foxhole shot. Brian Borges, who we're here with on board with the GoPro, found himself in 2nd position, but eventually he would fade into 11th by the time the checkered flag fell, but it was still a good result for the MX2 rookie. Vals Jonas, having a much better ride this time out, tried to keep his Red Bull KTM in the wheel tracks of his teammate Jeffrey Hurlings. Covington was 3rd for a while. Julian Lieber, despite that big crash in race 1, found his standing constructs Yamaha Yamalu machine in 4th, and then a mistake from Covington allowed the young Belgian rider through into 3rd. Ferrandis also went through, and Covington dropped 2 positions in the space of a lap. Jeffrey Hurlings, though, took the checkered flag for another win. That's 6 wins on the bounce now in the 3 occasions that we've been here to Thailand. Of course, Jeffrey Hurlings, an overall winner here this weekend. Jonas was 2nd in the race, Julian Lieber was 3rd, and your overall Grand Prix, of course, belonged to Jeffrey Hurlings in what was a Red Bull KTM 1-2. Dylan Ferrandis 3rd on the Monster Energy Kawasaki. Of course, Jeffrey Hurlings, 100 points on the board. He's won every race so far in 2015.
There you go. That's your taster of what is to come in 2015, where the best of the best will duke it out around the world. Now we know Villopoto means business, and he's here to shake up the MXGP class like never before. I don't know about you, but I cannot wait until the 29th of March, round 3 in Patagonia, Argentina.